One entertainment company saw it necessary to put on a musical to pay tribute and celebrate the life of one of the most iconic gospel singers, Mahalia Jackson. JCS Entertainment has explored the life of Miss Jackson from as early as the 1920s. The inspirational story features some of the major moments of the U.S. civil rights history. The musical will show how Mahalia's life intertwined with that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. CNews sent none other than her namesake, Mahalia Joseph, to see how the musical is shaping up.
Although Mahalia Jackson and I share the same name, I wasn't blessed with a powerful singing voice like hers. But I did meet someone that comes pretty close. The role of Mahalia Jackson is played by two women, Letitia Sylvester, who plays the mature Mahalia, and Mandisa Grandison plays the younger version. Mandisa is no stranger to theatre and musicals, but it's her first time combining the two.
It's challenging in the best way possible. It's taking me out of my comfort zone, which is something I want to do. I want to stretch myself. And so I'm finding myself getting emotional in places that I thought that I wouldn't. So it's been interesting. It's an interesting process thus far.
And while Letitia had no prior acting experience, she's been exposed to music since she was a child. So it was no surprise that when she got word of the musical, she didn't hesitate to audition.
I wanted to be Mahalia. I left home and I prayed. I even told all my friends to pray about it and keep me in mind.
Did you know much about Mahalia before you auditioned for this musical?
I not much, but when I was a little girl, my father, he used to always have a Mahalia Jackson CD in the car when we would go to church, and he would play it over and over every single Sabbath. He would play Mahalia Jackson. So I knew the music, I knew the sound.
Actor Conrad Paris will play the role of Dr. Martin Luther King, a role that he says is the ultimate challenge.
Learning about Dr. King and the way how he conducted, his protests, makes me think about what role I could play if anything like that hopefully doesn't happen here.
Executive producer John Smith says JCS Entertainment has done several musicals in the past, but the life of Mahalia speaks to what is happening in the US and Trinidad and Tobago.
And then in looking for a work that would fit into the smaller venues, we bounced up on Mahalia. And it was so pertinent. 50 years after the Selma to Montgomery March, 50 years after they crossed the bridge. And then look at its relevance today in terms of Baltimore, in terms of Ferguson.
He says the music and the production can touch anyone's life.
Well, I have cried so many times in this room. I mean, crying. If you see our Mahalia do Precious Lord, Take My Hand, I mean, it is something that makes you have you shedding tears.
The musical, directed by Raymond Chukong, begins on May 7th, 2015 at the Little Carib Theatre. Mahalia Joseph, CNews.